I can't wait until my new children's book is finally published. Just riding along in my car listening to music.
Yeah, of course you are. And you're not looking in your rearview mirror either.
OMG, is that Sergeant Be Safe behind me? Guess I should get out of the way.
Oh my goodness! Pull over to the right and get out of the way! There's an emergency up ahead and I need to get there! Drivers, you should be operating your vehicle with your radio at a reasonable level. You should also be aware of your surroundings, including what's behind you. So when I come through with my flashing lights and siren, you can immediately get out the way and I can go help whoever's in danger or whatever emergency is happening. Those seconds that it takes for you to pull over are very valuable. Me and my friends need every second imaginable so we can properly serve you. So pull over to the right immediately when you see our lights and sirens so we can go save a life.
Ah, my packages have finally arrived. About time. I'm sure glad I live in an area where nothing happens. Only action around here are deer chomping on people's flowers. I'll take him in after I get done cutting this here grass. This is my favorite pastime.
Aha! I see a package left unattended.
Another crime of opportunity.
Easy pickings for a guy like me. Oh no! There's Be Safe again.
Sergeant Be Safe,
Hello
is that
there.
you? It's good to see you.
Looks like I'm right on time again. Rob, you blind? Get out of there.
People make it so easy for me to get caught.
Hold on now. He really wanted to steal my packages?
Yes, he did.
Sergeant Be Safe, you're the best, the coolest cat in the land. You saved the day again. We need more like you, brother. We need more like you.
Trust me, I truly appreciate the glory and accolades. But you can really thank me by being vigilant over your property and making my job easy. Well, back to jail you go.
Ooh.
Package thieves are the worst. Even if you can't get home in time, invest in the security camera so you can catch these thieves. And their next view will look like this. Trust me, this isn't a good view. These seats aren't made for comfort, they're made to transport. Kids, this is one seat you don't want to sit in. Just imagine what your parents would think.
Ooh.
And this is Sergeant Be Safe giving you another tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
Dude,
Technology, we're here.
we are here, man. This is awesome. I was checking you out, man. I love Black and Blue, man, and all the writing and man, you got like, I was like, I got to find out more about this guy, man. How long you been a cop? How long you been on the job?
I've been on the job that 18 years and then 3 years in the Army.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm gonna. I read in your bio on LinkedIn, a professional baker. What the hell? What the hell's going on with that, man?
And we are here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Black and Blue. I'm your host, Coach Clee. It's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. Yes, that is true. I was a baker in my former life. Thank you guys for tuning in. You did see a clip of the guest that I had backstage when I was on his podcast. I was in the opposite seat. I was not the host. I was the interviewee, and it is a very nervous seat to sit in when you're on the opposite end of the camera. However, it's his turn today, and he's done tremendous things. I'll get into his bio here in a minute. He's also he's a coach. He's got his own website. He's also another author right here. Here's his book. Got to remember the camera's shows opposite. Let me hold that right, and we'll dig into that. That is also in the comment. His website's in the comment section. Make sure not now. Take a look at it. Do it after the live, but it's in the comment section, and it'll be posted in the link above. We are streaming on 5 different platforms. I see it. There you go, Shayla. 5 different platforms right now. We are on 2 on Facebook, 2 on YouTube, and 1 on LinkedIn. So make sure you tag, like, and subscribe, share that information so we can get this information out here. This platform is geared to humanize the badge, to humanize this profession, to show exactly the ins and outs of what law enforcement and first responders do. The guests that are on this show are either rookie, seasoned, or retiree first responders or law enforcement officials that just share their experiences, share their knowledge, have some sort of training, have some sort of publication, something to the effect that shows the different aspects of law enforcement. So if you're just looking to gain some knowledge, you're in the right place. If you're looking to get into the profession at all and you have some questions, you're in the right space. If you're wondering why and you've been here for a while in this profession as a first responder and you're somewhat burnt out, you're in the right place to get those questions answered. You know, I see you on here, Jamon. Thank you for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. Like I said, I can't see who's all on here since we're streaming from 5 different platforms. So if you're looking for a shout out, put your name and where you're from in the comment section, and I'll give you that shout out that you're looking for. This is interactive. So if you do have a question, you're going to have to put that in the comment section too, and we'll address that question as we can need to be. All right. But keep the engagement up. Keep the comments coming. Keep the likes coming. We're going to have a lot of fun. You already saw the cartoonist, Sergeant Be Safe. Sergeant Be Safe is the cartoon cop that provides safety tips, and he's going to be featured throughout this podcast. So stay tuned for that. Also, this is sponsored by One Way Publishing. One Way Publishing, their motto, they can turn a mere thought into a book that's bought. So if you ever wanted to write your own book, your nonfiction, fiction, autobiography, how to do, self-help, anything you could think of, One Way Publishing can get it done. And if you don't believe me, stand by, watch this. Publishing. Have you ever wanted to explain something, tell a story, or leave a piece of you behind? Have you ever wanted to write your own book, but not specifically know how to do it? Well, get ready. One Way Publishing's here. We can turn a mere thought into a book that's bought. People need to learn from you. They need to hear that story. Kids need to read that book. Imagine if you wrote your own children's book and get to read it to your kids. Here at One Way Publishing, we can get your fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, instructional, what have you, done. All at a reasonable price and definitely a reasonable time frame. And if you don't believe me, ask Sergeant Be Safe. He's working on his right now. He's definitely writing the best chapter of his life. Make sure you check out his cartoon skits that air on the podcast Black and Blue.
As Sergeant Be Safe said, that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
And like I said, One Way Publishing, make sure the website's scrolling below and it's also in the comment section. If you want to reach out to figure out how you can get your book published, do that. If you're looking to find out how you can be on the show, you can reach out that way as well. If you have any questions, any concerns, if you have whatever it has, that is the contact information for Black and Blue, One Way Publishing. It's a one-stop shop. Make sure you guys check that out. But without further ado, we are here. He's backstage. Some of you guys may know him. Other you guys may not. He's John Kelly, and I was featured on his show, like I stated before, and read his book. His book is outstanding. I'd recommend it as reading for anyone who's looking to get in the first responder, especially in law enforcement, or just anyone who it translates over many different occupations. People can relate to this. I think he's very brave to put his information out there, his experiences. It's not very easy to do, to open yourself up literally as a book for the world to read. And he did that. And we're going to discuss that. He's a 31-year veteran from the Sheriff's Department. He's a retired sergeant. He's worked from patrol to investigations, the K-9 unit, the motorcycle unit. He's been on many critical incidents. One that he discusses in his book that it would happen soon after he got out of the academy, where he was in the hand-to-hand combat for his life. And right now he's been affected by alcohol addiction, infidelity, PTSD, and it's not easy for me to put that out there, but that's what he highlights in his book, and he does this to help others who've been in certain situations to get that information out there and how he's been through it and came out of it, and he can help you get out of it too. So without further ado, Sergeant Be Safe is going to welcome him, and we're going to join him to the platform. Hello, this is Sergeant Be Safe, and I want to welcome all you viewers and our very special guest to Black and Blue. So get your questions ready and enjoy the show.
Film Pack. Subscribe now.
Yep, there we go. Sergeant Be Safe, thank you for that intro. It was wonderful. And without further ado, I'm going to bring him to the stage here. And we are John. Are you there?
What do you say?
Hey, thank you for being available and on the podcast. I'm excited to have you here. How are you doing tonight?
My pleasure, man. No, I thought it was prom night, man. I was getting all gussied up, showered, shaved. Slap some cologne on, a little mouthwash. I'm ready to rock and roll, brother.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to learn a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, man, where do I start? Don't let the accent fool you. I'm not from the deep South. I grew up on the North Shore of Boston.
Okay.
And, regular upbringing, I don't know. I guess regular's, regular is probably one way of putting it. So Irish kid from Boston, there's going to be some alcohol involved in growing up. And so grew up in the Northeast, North Shore of Boston.
Okay.
Ended up going to a military college up in Vermont.
Okay.
University. I was a criminal justice major there, and had some opportunities with the military. And actually took a pass, went through OCS in 87 with the Marine Corps. And, I was like, I wanted to serve, like what's going on? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of room in the inn for baby Jesus up in Boston, man. So I had to come south. To find a job. And I found one with the sheriff's office 30 plus years ago down in Broward County.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. He's using biblical references.
Always. There's a lot of there's gonna be we're gonna mix it up tonight. There's gonna be a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, we're gonna have. Yeah, I believe it. Yes, and by reading your book, I know it. It's gonna be a tremendous show. But I know you said you're retired from Broward County Sheriff's Department. What do you currently do now?
So I started. So when I left, Clee,
Mhm.
you would think that after 30 years, brother, things would get better.
Hmm.
And looking back at my career, we're not in a better place. We should be. We should be in a better place, but we're not. And I just felt there was really a lot more work that needed to be done for the folks still in the middle of it.
Hmm.
And you know, when you don't have that thumb pressing on you from your command and your agency,
Uh-huh.
that weight comes off your shoulders, and you can say some things and do some things to really help people where before you can't. Well, you can, but you might get smacked. And
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so I was just like, listen, man, there are too many things going on that need to be addressed that aren't being addressed.
Mhm.
And I just came up with the idea that ultimately, law enforcement, first response, we don't need additional training in cop stuff, man. We got that.
Right.
The things that mess us up, the things that cause us great pain and heartache are the life stuff, the life issues. And
Mhm.
we don't ever get schooled on that. We find out after we get divorced. We find out after we get bankrupt. We find out after we have a problem with alcohol. We hit the wall and then we get help.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, hey, there's got to be a better way of doing this. And so that was kind of the catalyst to start this progressive, proactive self-care. Like, this is what you need to do for you. You need to make your self-care a priority. You need to make you a priority. And if you fall in a hole, all right, there's a way to get out of it.
Right.
And so kind of embracing the fact that we're not perfect and we're going to fall and we're going to stumble, but ultimately, man, if we keep getting up, tomorrow's another day, brother. And
Yeah.
and sometimes we get up on our own, and sometimes it's with the help of friends and family.
Mhm.
But I think there's a big misconception out there that you got to be perfect. And I think when we hold ourselves to unrealistic standards, man,
Mhm.
that's no bueno. No
Yeah.
bueno for our Latin listeners. That's not good.
Yeah, man. I like how self-care is a big deal, and holding ourselves to a higher standard on things. Like you said, we come out of the academy, you're ingrained, taught so many different, you know how to respond to alarms, you're taught how to respond and react to domestics, you're taught how to take a person into custody for warrant services or a number of different things. You're taught how to angle your car, to angle your body for traffic stops, how to approach vehicles, what kind of command presence that you use. So many different things are taught, and like, man, I'm absorbing this like a sponge. But again, like you said, what's not taught are life lessons that you don't learn until you actually go through them. And then when
Right.
you actually go, being first responders and cops, we're the helpers. We don't like to ask for help, and most times we don't even know we need help until we've already hit the bottom and don't know where else to turn. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure you've seen throughout your career. I know I've seen throughout my career, first responders that hit rock bottom and either want to self delete somehow, or they do destructive behaviors, or they alienate themselves from their family, their friends, and the world. They dive into different substance, narcotics abuse, and they think that's their only option or their only way out when there's so many different options available to them. If sometimes if sometimes we all need to extend the olive branch, but also the individual going through it needs to be the big person to ask for help and understand it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, man. I couldn't have said it better. It's we get this. We're all alphas. We're all tough guys.
Mhm.
We're experts at solving everyone else's problems,
Mhm.
right? But we do that, Clee, at the expense of ever solving our own.
Yeah.
We're almost predisposed to it. As long as there's another call to go to, as long as there's another situation for me to resolve, then I
Mhm.
really don't need to take a look at me, man.
Right.
I'm busy. I'm busy fixing other people. I'll get around to me eventually.
Mhm.
And that philosophy is a recipe for disaster.
Right. I agree. So before we jump into all the meat and potatoes, I'm trying to get a little bit more background so all of us can understand you and who you are and what brought you through this process. What are some mentors or influencers, or I should say, who are some mentors or influencers that you kind of took you under your wing, maybe before law enforcement as we're coming up, or throughout your 30-year career? Who have you modeled yourself after? Who did you look up to ask those questions or follow in those footsteps?
Yeah, excellent question, man. So when I was a young man, I had my dad and a couple of uncles. Both of my uncles, one was a Green Beret in the Special Forces in Vietnam. The other one flew Huey rescue choppers, and I kind of always emulated them. I always looked up to them. When they walked through a crowd, man, people got out of the way,
Right.
and they commanded respect, and they didn't have to tell anybody they were a badass, man. You just looked at them and you were like, all right, damn, all right, that all right, that they're here. They their presence was felt, and in a really good way, right? In a really secure, comforting way, and so I started modeling myself after them. And my dad, I kind of, so when I reflect, right, I don't ever stop growing, learning. I kind of slam my dad pretty hard in the book. And, I think a lot of that was misdirected anger, man, because when my dad was such a hard worker, I mean, Clee, 2-3 jobs. I mean, he was the typical guy that he spent his entire life providing for his family. I don't like, he was just a force, put 2 kids through college. We never wanted for anything, man. But and unfortunately, I think when my dad left my mom, I was gone. I was already out of the house when all that happened. And I didn't have that relationship with him that I thought I had. Like, we never talked about it, bro.
Right.
And I got so angry at him. Like on his deathbed, I was angry at him.
Wow.
And it's just, it kind of messed with me a little bit, man, but I learned so many great things from him, but he was an alcoholic. He was a womanizer. I learned a lot of great things not to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because of him, right? Like, he was a good example of some things I never wanted to be. So, he was a great influence and actually kind of waking me up to the man that I know I should be.
Gotcha.
I was almost falling into that trap of being him, alcoholic, getting ready to leave my wife. And, we weren't having conversations like, no, you need to stick it out. He was just almost like, welcome to the club, son.
Right.
And that's just, dude, that didn't sit well with me, man, and that just kind of, that fueled the fire, man. That fueled that anger even more. Yeah. And so a lot of good, a lot of bad. And then, getting into the job, I had a great career, man, but it wasn't with, the trials and tribulations that we all face. Right. And so I had a couple sergeants. I put it in the book. I came to work one night. I was 3 sheets to the wind, and that's, I had been drinking all day, man, riding my motorcycle with my boys. And
I remember that story in the book.
Yeah, man. And so, my boys took care of me. They put me to bed at a buddy's house and they handled my calls all night. But I never made it to roll call. And, anybody on the job knows, like, that's where the night starts, man. If you don't make it to roll call, it's a red flag. Yeah, it's a little red flag, man. And so one of my sergeants got with me later in that morning, and he was just like, he knew I was messed up, and he could have had me terminated right there. It would have been well within his right to do that. And instead, he sent me home, and I said, we're going to talk about this tomorrow night. So I came back to work, fully expecting to get fired, Clee. Yeah. I was just like, you did this to yourself, man. Nobody to blame. You did this. And Ray Lewis and Jim Twist, they sat me down and they just said, That last night will never, never be allowed to happen again.
Mhm.
And they gave me a choice. And you can either get help or we're going to come in and refer you, right? So, like, as I moved along in my career, I never forgot that gesture.
Yeah.
They used their rank to help somebody, to give somebody a second chance. And I think too often nowadays, I think people get amnesically. I don't know about you, brother man, but I've been given more second chances than anyone deserves. And so, when I was in a position, when I was a sergeant, when I was a boss, you would have to do something pretty messed up, man, for me not to give you a second chance. Right? Because I've been the beneficiary of people believing in me. And so, that was definitely a takeaway, man, that I've carried on through my whole adult life as a supervisor and just as a man, that, hey, we all mess up, man. We all mess up. And, don't be too quick to start throwing stones. You know how that thing goes.
Start throwing stones in the glass house. Exactly.
Yeah, man. A lot of people doing that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Those were some defining moments in my life that, you don't need to be perfect, man, but you do need to care. And so if you can find your way in that regard, good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen.
I like how you shared that. I remember reading that in the book, and I was like, it's nice to see, as bad as this situation was, because I remember you saying you were out either partying or drink. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were basically drinking all day. You thought you'd be able to clean up before a roll call. Took a shower, I believe. You vomited or whatever.
Yeah.
To make it in that night. Your buddies covered for you. Put you in the bed. They said sleep it off. And I'm telling you now, if I gotta hump somebody else's call while I'm working, then you guys owe me a big favor in the end.
Man. No, we were thick as thieves, man. We were tight. We so there's a difference between supporting somebody and enabling them, right?
Yeah.
My boys were enabling me, which, that's what we do, man. The sergeants were supporting me.
Right.
They were giving me the option. Hey, you can make this right. You can win or you can lose. It's going to be on you. And they gave me the option. I found an AA meeting that was for cops, ran by cops. And yeah, man, that was the start of me getting sober and turning a big part of my life around.
Yeah. I remember reading in the book too as well. I believe you had your wife's car maybe, and she might have been out of town. One of her, you banged that up, and
man,
so a bad accident. Tell us about that a little bit,
dude. So, that old adage, when the cat's away, right? So it was Halloween night, and I grabbed one of my boys, and I was like, hey, so and so, Darren's having a Halloween party. Let's hit it. And I had a vet. And black vet, black on black. It was just a badass car. And I say I had it. It was Mrs. Kelly's, and so she was away for the weekend. So I took the vet, and I'm an alcoholic, bro. I don't. There is no stop. There is no. If I start, I don't stop, and that's just not good, man. And being a cop in the '90s in South Florida. Cops weren't locking each other up, brother. You had to mess up pretty bad for somebody to look at you and put cuffs on you. And drinking and driving wasn't one of them. We would give more guys rides home, and help them out. That's just the way it was.
Right.
And I blamed it on the tires. I was like, them damn tires didn't have any tread on them. Not that I was doing. Weaving in and out of traffic 80 miles an hour in a rainy night. That didn't have nothing to do about it. And I lost control, man. I was doing 360s southbound in the northbound lanes of Federal Highway, clearing Broward Boulevard, approaching the tunnel, man. And my buddy Ted was in the front seat next to me. And it was one of those things, man, when we got done spinning and the smoke cleared, I had snapped the upper and lower control arms of the vet.
Wow.
And we were blocking 2 of the 3 lanes of northbound traffic coming out of a tunnel, man. And it was just like, man, I guess this is how it ends, you know? And I don't know why, I don't know how, but the car fired up and I smoked those tires. I plowed that Corvette down a side street. And people saw this horrific accident, man. They had already called 911, bro. And Fort Lauderdale's racing up and down Federal Highway looking for this wreck. And my buddy Teddy, he takes the keys from me. Now, I was shitty. I'm not letting him drive my vet.
Yeah.
He takes the keys from me and he says, if we get pinched, I'll tell him I was driving. And I mean,
wow.
Yeah, man. And so we called a Max tow company. They came, hooked the vet, and I had them drop it in my driveway at the house. And that next morning, bro, you wake up and I don't know, I don't want to say that you've experienced this, but you wake up and you're like, what was last night a dream, or did that shit really happen? Yeah. I looked out the window. I saw my vet all jacked up with the front, the control arm snapped. And I was just like, God damn, that did happen. But, and then I thought I would be slick, man. I rented my wife a convertible Mustang. Well, I had the vet brought to a shop, and she got home. She's like, "Where's the vet?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm having some work done to it, Yeah,
major work.
She's like, "Man, what'd you do?" I'm like, but that was wearing thin on her, bro. She started getting really worried about what she just got herself into, because all that was happening like around 95, 96. When we got married in 95.
Okay, so it was still pretty fresh.
Yeah, man. So I think she was really having some reservations about, this shit ain't funny anymore.
Yeah.
It got real for her.
Yeah.
And so, she's a good woman, man. I unfortunately, she was on the receiving end of a lot of things that she shouldn't have been, being with me. And, that's part of my whole thing, man. The title of the book is, Surviving Self-Inflicted Wounds, A Deputy's Life of Redemption. And that redemption part, man, I take serious. Righting wrongs, man. Righting wrongs. And
absolutely.
Spend my life doing that now,
Yeah. They're making up for messed up times. I understand.
Yeah, man.
Process helping other people that may be going down the same path, because you can say, I've been there, brother, and this is exactly where it's going to lead you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's sometimes we gotta touch the fire to know it's hot. I understand that, but there are those out there, man, that are smart enough to go, you know what? I see some parallels here, and I'm going to get off at this exit, man. I'm not going to continue down that road. And that's really the whole goal with this, part of why I did this, Clee, and why I'm doing the coaching and the speaking and the book. And I think we have a moral obligation, Clee, to share with our brothers and sisters some things that we found, that we've uncovered just by living, right? By living life. There's a moral obligation to share what we've learned and to pay it forward. And I think at the end of the day, man, this whole goal, why you're doing what you're doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, I think it's ultimately about making this place better than we found it, leaving it, a lot of people come into this world and they take, man, they take more than they give. And I think that upsets the balance. I think it's incumbent upon us to set it straight before we leave this place. Because that's the other thing, brother. We're all going to leave this place.
Yeah. Yep. He's preaching today, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, man. It doesn't. The sands in the hourglass, brother. They don't ever stop. And we've got it somehow. We've got it figured that we're going to be here forever. And that thing that you meant to do today, you can do tomorrow. Man, you may not have tomorrow. So, you need to get it done today.
Right.
You need to get it done today.
Got a question and a comment on the floor. A comment from Jaman. He's definitely had his fair share of second chances and never forgot when leading others. Absolutely, been paying it forward. The wrongs in his past. Got Govan on here. Thank you for tuning in. He's got a question on here. John, did you get any specific training to help others?
So actually, most of it is all on the job. I went through a coaching certification program, and that was really to dial in how to get the best out of people, how to ask the right questions, how to know where to draw the line between coaching and counseling and therapy, right? We're not therapists, we're coaches, right? And so a little bit of formal training, but the vast majority of the skill sets that I've developed have been through life experiences. And really, anybody, if you're a first responder, you've been coaching, mentoring, and helping people since day one. I mean, that's what we do when we show up to scenes of unrest, is we try to help people and help them navigate a difficult time. I hope that answered his question.
Yep. And 1 second, we're going to cut to a Sergeant Be Safe commercial, and I'm going to come back and I want to discuss abuse, substance abuse, and infidelity. All right.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
There we go. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
I'm over here counting my stash. Cooper, get out of here. Last time you got me in trouble with Be Safe. This is a good spot to sell my drugs.
Sergeant, Be Safe. We just got a call for suspicious activity. Copy that, dispatch. Captain Chaos and his K9 Kraken along with me are just now arriving on the scene. We'll stop and check it out. 10-4, Sergeant, Be Safe.
Oh no, cops! I'm out of here.
Release the Kraken.
Hey, we see your drugs over there. Stop running, treacherous Tony. We will get you.
All right. I give up. I won't do it again.
Yeah, you say that all the time.
I'm sick of going to jail.
Illegal drugs are a bad decision. Just ask treacherous Tony. This isn't a good view. Take it from me, Sergeant Be Safe. I want you to make good decisions. And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
And we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Treacherous Tony does arrive on the scene and get beat up a lot. But
Texas Tony got bit.
Yeah, you know it. He shouldn't have ran.
That's it, man. That's too funny.
But yeah, we're back. We got John Kelly here on stage. We've been having a wonderful podcast interview with him, learning a bunch of things and learning through his experiences on things that may still be affecting law enforcement and first responders officials today. And one thing that I want to get into, because it seems to be something that happens more often now than I can remember early on in my career, is there's a lot of officers or first responders that are suffering from either family problems with infidelity, with alcoholism and going home, or even narcotics, some sort of substance abuse issues. And hypothetically, can you relate to any of those situations? And if so, can you share any stories?
Oh, good God. Brother, you're too kind, man. We don't even have to talk about hypothetics, man. there's nothing hypothetical about, going down that road. So,
Right.
yeah, this is the thing, man. In this first responder culture,
Mhm.
there are so many things that we find acceptable
Mhm.
as behavior that the rest of society, frowns upon, and that's putting it lightly. But
Right.
whenever we get to a point, man, where abusing alcohol or
Mhm.
infidelity becomes not a big deal,
Mhm.
um, who's going to check you in that crowd?
Hmm.
If you and me are partners, man, and we're both stepping out and we're both abusing alcohol or any other substance,
Mhm.
you going to check me?
Hmm.
No, man. If you to check me, you got to check yourself, man. And so, unfortunately, I really think we've lost our way in a couple areas. First, since day one. I mean, I'm not probably the best example for this because listen, I was an alcoholic before I got hired.
Okay.
Because the guy interviewing me was an alcoholic, right? I mean, so nobody's pressing anybody about their drinking, and it's the most insane thing because there is no other drug out there that has killed more people, than taken more people, or destroyed more lives than alcohol. And just because we can go down to the store and buy a bottle, that doesn't mean that it's not a threat, And so, we've got a lot of growing up to do as a people, man. You talk about all these initiatives and all these different task force to address fentanyl. Listen, fentanyl is dangerous. It's terrible. It doesn't even minutely scratch the surface with the amount of people that have died because of alcohol and alcohol related accidents. It's just so, but in order for us to do something about that, we got to take a hard look at ourselves. Right. And so that doesn't happen. And so we cope with alcohol. Alcohol is accepted. It's not a big deal if you tie one on. I don't listen, Clee. I don't ever remember driving on after going out sober. It would be easier for me to tell you the times that I wasn't drunk than at the times that I was.
Wow.
And so it's only by the grace of God that I didn't kill somebody, right? And so, but that's shameful, man. That's shameful, right? Because how do you look at yourself? How do you wake up after hurting somebody because you decided to drink and drive, right? I think things are getting better nowadays because now they got Uber, Lyft, all that stuff. Like they're so much smarter than we were, bro. Right? Because like you were like, I'm not leaving my car. I'm not leaving my car on Lansdowne Street, in downtown Boston. That ain't happening. So you were like, you know what? I'll get home. And sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't. But I think we've got a long way to go with that. And I think just because it's legal doesn't mean that it should be a means for us to cope and deal with things, right? There are much healthier ways to get through this profession without relying on alcohol to numb and to deal with some of the things that we have to deal with. The other thing that I think is huge, and let me just say this, man. I was a piece of shit for a really long time. Not proud. I was ashamed of myself. Everything that I swore to love and protect, I destroyed, bro. And I did so willingly. And so when you're in a relationship, man, if you, and this is for the women too, man, because, a lot of times people think like, I'm just talking about guys. I said, listen, a guy got to have a girl to step out on, man. And if she's married too, she's just as much of a piece of shit as he is.
Right.
And so I think we've made it too easy. I think we've made it, it's almost acceptable, man. Like if you're not you don't have a side piece, or if you don't, it's laughable. We joke about it.
Yeah,
And I think our moral compass, man, is really messed up. I think that when I say I'm yours and you're mine, I think we need to take that commitment a little bit more seriously. And I think that, when we say in good times and bad, that means that that means exactly what it says, man. That it's not when everybody's rolling and we're in Aruba and everybody's drinking, daiquiris. It's like when we're looking for money to pay the bills, and maybe things aren't going right, and maybe we're not communicating, and maybe I got some growing up to do. And it's about being there when it's inconvenient, man. Right? When it's inconvenient. And unfortunately, Clee, when things got tough at home, I bailed, man. I am the shame that I had felt for what I did to my family and my daughter is it's never left me, bro.
I believe
it has never left me. And I think, my wife, she's forgiven me. She forgave me a hell of a lot quicker than I ever forgave myself, if you can even imagine that. But I think that infidelity, listen, man, if you don't want to commit, then don't commit, man. Don't get married.
Right.
Just, hang out, have friends, do whatever you want. But if you're going to say, hey, it's going to be you and me for the rest of our lives, then that needs to mean something. And if you do what I did, which is almost intentionally dismantle that, man, then you got to spend the rest of your life trying to get that back. And that's what I've done, and that's what I've been doing. And so there's an importance there, I think, that we gloss over, because looking in the mirror is tough, bro.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror and absolutely being disgusted with the person looking back at you, that demands you taking action. That demands you doing something about that guy. And it was a long road, bro. It was a long road, man. I don't mean to curse. I apologize, but yeah, man. It's and you know what? Self-inflicted, bro. Nobody did that to me. Right? I did that to me.
Yeah.
When I don't communicate, when I don't talk with my wife, when I don't ever tell her what I want, and I just roll with it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever you want. Whatever. If there's no connection there, man. We're animals, right? We're animals. We're an animal with a brain, and you know what, man? If you are feeling not appreciated, if your needs aren't being met, there'll be somebody out there to meet those needs and to make you feel appreciated, right? And so if you want to keep that relationship strong, having that communication, doing those things that you were doing when you were courting, all those things, man. When you were Clee Don Juan, when you were rocking the roses and the cards from CVS, those between you and me cards, man, and you were, and the little stuffed animals and all that bullshit. When you were doing that, man, if you don't maintain that, and then you wonder why things change.
Yeah.
What do you well, man, listen, if we stop doing the things that make us successful, if we stop doing the things that make us successful in our relationships, then we can't be shocked when our relationships get sideways, man. And that all plays into being a rock star at work. You know why I'm at work all the time? You know why I'm a superstar at work, man? I don't want to be at home. Work's easy, man.
Yeah,
Work's easy. Home takes effort, man. Home takes effort. I run through work with my eyes closed, and I'm a rock star.
Right.
Am I a rock star at home, man? How does if my family was to complete an evaluation on me, what would that evaluation look like? Right.
That's
And those are the questions that we need to ask. And then when we get those answers, they demand us to take action.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe we need to tell work no. How about that? We tell work no. Man, I never told work no. I told my wife and daughter no. I told them no, man. Shameful. The shit I made a priority. We love our agencies, man, but they never love us back the way we think they do. And all this time, man, we got families, we got kids, we've got, I was talking to a guy the other day. He's like, yeah, man, I don't work details anymore because my kid's playing soccer and I'm not going to miss one of his games. I went, yeah, man, you figured it out. You figured it out, man, because that's what matters. That's what matters. And there's just so many takeaways, Clee. The importance of getting it right. It's again, man, we're not here for a long time. And I don't listen, I cringe, bro, when I think about the pain that I caused my wife and my daughter. Bro, I sat my daughter on the bed and told her things would be better, that she'd have 2 Christmases, that she'd have 2 bedrooms. Fucking shameful, man. I tried the shit I tried selling my little girl to rationalize my unacceptable behavior. Dude, you want to listen, I had post-traumatic stress from those conversations.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Picking up dead bodies, bro, all day long. All day long. Reliving that conversation that I had with my daughter, trying to sell her on the fact that it would be better if I wasn't there. Nah, man. And so part of all this that I'm doing, part of the book, part of the coaching is to keep men from making really shitty decisions that, see, listen, Clee, if I make a decision and it just falls on me, man.
Yeah. So be
all
it.
Right. I'm a big boy, man. I'll take care of it. But what happens is we make decisions, man, and the ripple effect is far reaching.
Yeah, that collateral damage.
Collateral damage is real. And if you don't think it's real, you're fooling yourself. Right? You're fooling yourself because my daughter, can I share a story? Do we have time?
Yeah, please do.
So I was going through that bullshit, and my daughter, I think, was about 7 or 8 years old. And she, dude, if you don't think your kids know what time it is, it's another lie you're telling yourself. So now fast forward, she's 25 now, and we're sitting out back. I got a fire pit out back, and got a fire going, and that's our time, right?
Right.
And she asked me about my affair and why. And dude, you want to talk about having a conversation, man. And I told her, I got into it. And I said, your mom and I, we went to marriage counseling and she says to me, Clee, did you ever think that I might need counseling?
Ooh. Wow.
Dude, there are a lot of things that you can fail at, man. Failing your kids isn't one of them, man.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, baby, I was so messed up. I was just focusing on getting back with your mom and trying to, I didn't know. I didn't think that what I was doing was impacting you.
Yeah. Right,
man. And so, that's another, reality check that, like, damn, and listen, Cleet, my Bree and I mean, she's my, listen, you know, Nicole will always say, you know, she goes, I know I'm number two. Like my wife knows that, you know, my daughter and I, you know, I've been able to right some wrongs, man. And, but yeah, so I just, you know, I don't want to be down, man. I don't want to drive this plane into the side of a cliff, man. But, you know, but I think sometimes we need to talk serious about things that we do, man, because if everybody's telling you it's not a big deal, it's probably a big deal, man.
Probably
a big deal, man.
Go and listen to the majority of the advice. Sometimes you got to go the other way.
Yeah, man. You know, because I think people tell you it's not a big deal because if they tell you it's serious and it's what you're doing is messed up, then that's a criticism on what they're doing, right? Yeah. And so you know, lying to ourselves, man. It's just it gets us nowhere, man. It gets us nowhere. It keeps us stuck, man. It keeps us stuck, and it makes getting out of that hole so much harder.
Yeah, stagnant water attracts mosquitoes. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. No, man. I like that. Mosquitoes.
Got a couple comments on the floor. Yeah, Seti P, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. Jamon's back here. It takes a real man to publicly say everything you just said, and salute to you, brother.
Oh, man. No, listen, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Govan saying thank you for both of us for what we do. He's got to run. Thank you for tuning in, Govan. Appreciate that. We're going to pause for the calls quickly, and we're going to come right back because there's another topic of conversation I want to cover. I'm going to leave that little bit of mystery right there because Sergeant Be Safe's got a little interlude. Stay tuned.
Mystery.
Sergeant Be Safe here. And do you think I fight crime all by myself? Well, I don't. There's a whole team of us, and right now I'm gonna introduce you to one of them. He's on his way here now. When he gets here, I want you to give him a warm welcome.
Hey crew, Captain Chaos here. I'm also a canine handler. Here's my dog Kraken.
Release the Kraken!
Dance with my dogs in the nighttime.
Together we fight crime and keep everyone safe.
He's absolutely right. And he has a partner that rides along with him every day. It's his canine. And they work together to sniff out crooks that like to cause you and me trouble.
You guys know me. I'm Rob You Blind. No, I don't live here. This door was left unlocked. You guys make it very easy for me to steal your valuables. Sometimes I get my friends Chance Wilder and Treacherous Tony to help me.
Chance Wilder at your service. I'm the computer hacker and IT whiz. The scammer of all scammers. My friends Rob You Blind and Treacherous Tony often help me.
Yeah, I'm Treacherous Tony. I deal illegal drugs and pills.
This is just terrible news. Avoid him at all costs.
My new friends Robbie Blind and Chance Wilder brought me into their crew. I don't sell it to kids. I give it to them.
Ooh. Party pooper, be safe. You can't stop me. I know my rights. I'm just walking around here.
All right. I give up. I won't do it again.
Film Pack.
With more chaos comes more confusion. However, I'm Sergeant Be Safe, and I'll continue to stay here to give you your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
have there, starting to be safe. Give starting to be safe some likes. Give him some hearts in there. Starting to be safe. Works hard for a cartoon cop. He makes a lot of arrests. Some of them are a little questionable. However, in the fantasy world of the universe,
he works harder than some of the cops I know.
Me too. But I want to jump back into the interview. The mystery question I have is that we've all seen a lot of occupations throughout the nation and throughout the world with the COVID virus that ran rapid. Law enforcement kind of fell at the bottom of the rung. A lot of new applicants are hesitant on trying to apply for law enforcement or first responder jobs just because of how things are portrayed in the media. And a lot of seasoned officers are getting that burnout quickly, or they're quiet quitting and things along those lines. It's kind of a weird transitional time for first responders and law enforcement. What would you suggest to anyone, any new recruit or anyone who wants to apply, or even seasoned officers that they're finding it very difficult to retain their services throughout the career of their life in law enforcement? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. So this is the thing, man. It's this is the best job in the world. I don't care what time, what season, what's going on, what political wind is blowing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a heart, a servant heart, if you want to help others, there's no other profession that you can do day in, day out with a real life mission of serving others than this. I mean, the military, if there's a conflict someplace in the world, then they're applying their skill sets real time. Mm-hmm. But on day one, you are solving problems and adding value to people's lives. Mm-hmm. And if that's something that interests you, then this is one of the main professions that you can get into that allows you to do that, to truly make a difference in your brothers and sisters' lives. Everything's cyclical, Clee. Yeah. I mean, listen, it ebbs and flows, man. I remember after Rodney King, we were hearing all that bullshit, I interviewed a young lady. She's 24 years old. She just got on with the sheriff's office down here. And I'm like, hey, why? Like, why? She goes, I want to serve. I want to help my fellow human being. I'm like, right. Like, it like hit me in the head. I'm like, it didn't matter to her what political wind was blowing.
Right.
She was committed to helping her fellow human being. And, so if you're thinking about getting involved in law enforcement, now more than ever, listen, this is the problem. All you see, all you hear is such a small minority of the voice out there. When I mean to tell you, we got, a defund the police move. I don't know anywhere in Florida that's defunding the police. It ain't happening.
Right.
All right.
Right.
You've got a couple of high profile cities in this country: Portland, Chicago, New York, maybe a couple places in Philly that who have bought into this uber liberal wind of somehow taking money away or reallocating money or not hiring more cops or not spending the money on training, better training. Somehow that's going to make things better.
Right.
Well, we've seen, right, that formula is again, no bueno.
Right.
For our Latin listeners. And so, right. So, but if that's all you see and hear, right, stop watching the news. Yep. Shut the TV off, man, and pick up a book and add some value to your lives, because you got me all jacked up now, bro. Because this is the thing, man.
I understand. Trust me. I get it.
Yeah, man. This is the thing. We've got half the country absolutely hating the other country. They got black and white pitting against each other because they're hoping, Clee, that you and me stay at each other's throats. Because if we stay at each other's throats, brother, we're not keeping an eye on them. And, and they're the scumbags, bro. They're the scumbags that make policies that they never have to live by. right? And so we're clawing at each other. We're scrounging around for the scraps, and all the while they're laughing their asses off. These politicians and policymakers, and so we need to be a lot smarter, man, when it comes to what the deal is. So if you want to get into this profession, jump in with both feet. Do your due diligence. Find out what agency has to offer as far as career path. Listen, if Portland is offering a $30,000 signing bonus, that should scare you, right? That's a sinking ship, right? I can tell you, I can speak for Florida because I'm a Florida guy. There is our governor is giving our guys checks, Christmas checks. Thanks for your service. Here's $1,000.
Nice.
Thanks for what you do. Thanks for putting up with all the bullshit, right? That's what's going on in Florida. Governor DeSantis. Is the guy perfect? No. But he understands the importance of supporting law enforcement.
Right.
Right. Give them more training. Give them more resources. We talk about wellness programs, right? These are all things that make us better,
right,
that we need to be doing. And you asked about the guy that's already on the job, man, that's got that burnout. I would say that he needs to recalibrate, man. He's probably burnt out because this is going to sound messed up. He's cared too much about his role. And when I mean care, I don't mean you stop caring about the work that you do, but I would say he's put all of his emotional eggs in the law enforcement basket, man. Like, he's allowed his identity to become that of the cop or the sheriff.
Right.
And when you do that, man, you lose your way. You don't have balance and you get burnt out. So what I say to the guy who's on the job, man, that's burnt out, is to take a breath, man. Go on vacation. Spend some more time with your family. You know, pick up a book, turn the TV off, and recalibrate. And if you're really that unhappy, start doing some research and find where you can bring your skill sets to a community or a department that appreciates you. There are tons of options out there, bro. And I think a lot of times it's easier to piss and moan and to kick the sand and go, oh, you know, man, you know, look at what we got to do. Listen, the best job in the world, and one of the most noble of professions.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and so I think that the solutions are relatively easy, Clee. Doing them, like everything else, man. You know, hey, everybody knows that if you want to lose weight, you got to move more and eat less. Right? Listen, I'm not a dietitian, man, but if you move more and eat less, you're going to lose some weight.
Right.
Now do that. Now do that. Right.
So put in the work.
Yeah. Now put in the work. So yeah, man, those questions are excellent. And I think the solutions are positive, man. There is no, oh, well, you need to completely throw the playbook out and you need to reinvent no, man. Minor tweaks get you back on track to some sustainable goals and a lifestyle. And if you're thinking about getting involved in this profession, man, I'd say there's no better time. The pendulum is getting ready to swing back the other way, man. You know,
yeah,
I think
it has to be. Like you said, it's cyclical. So yes, it does go one way, and it's slowly coming back. We get a little hiccup. The joints need to be WD-40.
Yeah,
but they
man.
Ease out, and it will swing back. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like what you said too. You know, just a couple tweaks will realign. You know, you change the spark plugs out of a car, you almost have a brand new car. It runs efficiently, and I'm not
exactly.
I know that much.
Yeah, it's not difficult, man. It's not difficult. It's just you got to commit. How about that? You got to commit.
There you go. As Shayla says, stop complaining and make it happen.
Absolutely, got to make it happen.
Yep.
Got to
Hey,
make it happen.
I appreciate it. I don't want to monopolize too much more of your time. I appreciate everything that you laid out, some gems, ladies and gentlemen. The book will be in his website is in the comments section. Take a look, read his book, learn something. If not, for one, you can learn from his experiences. The best way to get over bad situations is to learn from situations from other people. You can experience them. He's a coach, so he can work with you one-on-one and guide you through that. Make sure you guys check out his podcast. He's out here making things happen, making things change, making the positive changes that we all need. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, John, I appreciate you.
Nah, man. Thank you, brother. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. You're doing great things, Clee. Thank you.
Thank you. But before we go, through the course of conversation, I may have forgot something, or through the course of conversation, it may have triggered something that you may want to put out there. Is there anything else that you want to lay out for anyone who's watching right now? The floor is yours.
This is the one thing that I'd say, man, is that at the end of the day, it doesn't cost you a thing to care. Care about yourself. Give the advice that you would give a friend. Give that advice to yourself and take it. Care about you first, and then spread that love, man. You don't have to like somebody to care about them. And I think if we all started caring about each other a little bit more, man, we could do some amazing things in this world of ours.
Truth.
Thank you, brother.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Jamon says, great live. Absolutely. We got Peter Kelly on. He's saying, yeah, you got to believe, you got to commit. Spot on. Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tag, like, and share. This is Black and Blue. We go live weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with first responders, law enforcement officials, whether they're seasoned, rookie, or retirees, along with their publications, their books, their trainings, anything like that. We humanize the badge, like we always say. Make sure you guys tune in. We got a special guest coming into the platform next week. I'm not going to say who he is. You got to stay tuned and learn from there. Get your questions ready. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself. You guys stay safe. 10-4, over and out.
Like my name was Search Warrant.
Hey guys, I just got this vape from Treacherous Tony. It tastes pretty nasty, but I look cool with it, right? You guys should give it a try. Be cool like me.
Nah, you look pretty stupid. And if you get caught with that thing, you're gonna be in big, big trouble. Besides, I heard Treacherous Tony is that lame guy who likes to come around and hang around little kids. If you're hanging with him, you must be lame too. Come on, guys, let's get out of here before we get in trouble like Cooper too.
Oh no, Sergeant, be safe.
You kids get out of here. Cooper, tell me where you got that from.
I won't snitch.
I don't see what's so funny. Vape pens like that can lead to harder drugs and cause more problems for you. They're not appropriate for little kids such as yourself. So I suggest you do the right thing and tell me who you got it from.
Treacherous Tony gave it to me.
Tristan, I want you to take me there now. Are you?
Yes, I'm Treacherous Tony. What do you want?
Do you have a card? And why are you selling this to kids?
Yeah, I got a medical marijuana card. I don't sell it to kids. I give it to them.
You give it to them? What kind of an adult are you?
It's a vape pen. What's the big deal?
Are you kidding me? The big deal?
Get out of here, Sergeant No Safe.
Sometimes I just wanna... Yep, I think I will.
All right. I give up. I won't do it again.
That's right, you won't. You're off to jail. Put your hands up and come with me. Remember, kids, what's made for adults aren't suitable for kids. Those vape pens may look cool, but they are not good for you. And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Oh no! Sergeant, be safe!
Subscribe now.